All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm with Dementia Friendly Fort Worth, and we are proud to offer these programs with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for future use through a YouTube channel. And today we are talking about childhood summer vacations.
All right.
All right. Bless you, Nancy.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start off by talking about summer vacations that included going to the lake. Did anybody take a summer vacation going to the lake? No?
Well,
Dawn?
Yes.
Yes. So tell us where you went.
Well, I'll start with high school where I met Myra.
Okay.
She and her family had a Winnebago, and there's a lake in Kansas called Lake Wilson. And there was a dock for boats to come up. And owned it, Myra?
We owned it.
Oh, okay. So Myra's dad owned it. And we go up there and we'd fish and we'd swim and ride in the boat. It's really it was a whole lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
you have to remember North Dakota has very few lakes. Okay. There was a big lake up where a lot of my relatives were, but that was too far away and it was more for the rich people.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Nancy, did you ever take a vacation to the lake?
Yeah, lots of them.
Lots of them?
Lots
And
of
what,
them. And we had a boat. So my husband was a school teacher, so it was easy to get on that boat as soon as the
School got
last
out?
class closed. And yeah, so we got it. We were lucky to get quite a few vacations.
Yes. And did you water ski or jet ski?
Water ski.
Water ski.
Oh, nice.
All
Okay.
right.
So I had one more.
Okay.
The first memory I have of going on a vacation to a lake with my parents was they had me out and I couldn't swim or anything. I was pretty young. They had me out and my dad was throwing me up in the air and catching me, and then he missed and I was underwater. And then he pulled me back up and I was kind of shocked that it happened, but I don't think I cried at all, but it was just kind of weird.
He was just being a Viking. Vikings threw their kids in the water to make
That's
them learn
right.
how to swim. Just
Swim. That's what he said.
swim
Swim.
or sink. Yeah. It's right on.
That's okay.
Well, when I was a kid, that was where we usually had vacation, was going to the lake. It was Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And one year we went on vacation and it rained and it rained and it rained. And by the third day, the tent was wet, the blankets were wet, the cots were wet. We had packed our food up and put it in the tent and unpacked it to cook and packed it back up. We all slept in cars the very last night because everything was wet. And so we packed everything up and went home. And when we got home, our air conditioner went out in the middle of the night.
Oh, no.
And we were planning to go on to Arizona to visit my aunt and uncle, or my mom's aunt and uncle, actually. And because the air conditioner was out and my mom couldn't sleep, she decided we were going to go ahead and leave in the middle of the night. So we loaded up the car and headed for Arizona to go visit my aunt and uncle for the rest of our vacation.
Oh, nice.
So, but it's one of those memories that all of us talk about, that vacation where everything was wet, and then we went on to Arizona after that. So,
I mean, there's some lakes that we drove by. We didn't stop at. Like we drove by Lake Michigan and not Lake Superior, the one that's above
Lake Erie.
Erie.
Erie. Yeah, and it wasn't even on fire then. So those were just drive-bys.
all right. Let's see what's up next. How about amusement park vacations?
Huh.
Anybody have any stories from amusement parks? No?
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I feel like I'm entitled or something because
We
my
went to
grandparents,
amusement parks when they were small. Very
Yes.
small.
when I was I think 14 or 15, my grandparents picked me up and we drove down from, well, I was living in South Carolina at the time. No, actually, I was up at their house visiting them. And they drove from Decatur, Illinois, all the way down to Disney World, which had just opened the year before. And we got to spend a couple days in Disney World. And then we later, Myra and I and Nathan went to Disney World as a family for, I think, 4 or 5 days. And that was a great fun. Pirates of the Caribbean is my ride.
the closest we ever got was county fairs. You know,
Yeah.
the rides at the county fair, that was it. And that was very seldom because my mother, we never had money for anything. Okay. And so that was a luxury. And so she didn't consider that as a necessity in her life.
We were actually, we did once in a blue moon in the summer, we would take the train, first a ferry and then the train to go to Copenhagen, where they have the Tivoli, which is a famous amusement park. But we would spend the day in Copenhagen and do other things, and then the evening would be spent in Tivoli with the rides, and then we'd take the train home after midnight.
Oh, wow.
It's a long day.
That's a long
It
day,
was a
yeah.
long day, yes, and we were, I think I was 7 or so. So that was a lot of miles that was walked.
This is not a vacation per se, but every Labor Day when we lived in Kansas, there'd be a Labor Day celebration, and they always had a carnival come in. And a carnival come in, and they had a what you call it, a demolition derby also.
Yeah.
And I'd stay down there and ride on the carnival ride still close. I'd worked at a grocery store there, and I saved all my money, and so I stayed down there. I rode this one ride. I don't know how many times I rode it. It was cheap, so but it was one that went around in circles, but twisted you around like in a little, like a rocket something, twist you around. I think I went on that 25 times.
The Twister, was it the Twister?
It's not like, I don't know what it was called, but it had you were in a little cage, was shaped kind of like an oval, pointy on both ends. And there was like 8 of them on the wheel. And it was for a fast ride too. I mean, they didn't, it's not like a Ferris wheel. It was more like something that was very fast.
I remember what those were called.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called either. But anyway, that was the end of every summer that when we lived in Kansas, Labor Day.
Of course, the faster the ride goes, the more people they get through.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Well, after 8 o'clock in this town called Hoisington, was in Kansas.
Yeah.
There was not very many people there at all. In fact, we were probably, well, I don't know, were you right on that with me? Or there's not very many people at all at the Carnival, so they.
So you
But
just
you
got
stayed
off
till-
and got right back on.
Yep, that's right.
The actual best times are after a rainstorm, and then they start up again because there's nobody there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So Nancy, what kind of amusement parks was it that you went to?
What kind of a what?
The amusement parks that you went to that you said were small.
Well, we lived in the Bay Area at that time, so we went to everything. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the Bay Area has amusement park. We went to LA because we have friends in LA, and we bought a van so that we could even sleep in the van at convenient times.
Uh-huh.
And Disneyland and all of the ones along with Disneyland.
Go to Knott's Berry Farm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So we enjoyed all of them.
Well, when I
And
was,
then our friends would come from the east, and guess what? We would take them to show them. So we would get a second trip.
The day after my wife and I got engaged, we went to Disneyland.
That's nice.
so were you in California at the time?
Yeah, I was working there. She flew out, and we got engaged, and then went to Disneyland, and then
Hey,
go
that's-
down to San Diego to see my brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to SeaWorld?
Nope.
Okay.
The only SeaWorld I've been in is the one in Orlando,
Okay.
because my grandkids love it.
Yeah.
Well, we went to Disneyland when I was a teenager because my mom had a really good friend out in California that we were going to stay with. And we had a little bitty, like a Honda Civic vehicle. And my older sister wasn't going. So it was just me and my two younger sisters and my parents. And my mom kept saying, now, Gail, there's not very much room in the trunk, so you can't pack a whole lot of stuff. And she was really giving me a hard time about it. So my grandmother, remember when everybody had those matching sets of suitcases?
Oh, yeah.
Big, heavy ones. My grandmother had a set that was avocado green. And one of the suitcases was probably only about 12 or 18 inches wide and
Yes.
about 10 inches tall.
Yeah.
And somehow I managed to get everything I was going to take for the vacation for the week in that little bitty suitcase. And when I showed up, good morning, Janine and John.
Good morning.
And when I showed up to put my suitcase in the vehicle, my mom's like, where's the rest of your stuff? I said, that's it. She's like, no, that can't be it. You got to have another suitcase. I'm like, nope, that's all. So I must have only brought one pair of sandals and folded everything really, really tiny to get everything for a week in that one suitcase.
It is possible.
Yeah.
It is
But-
possible. Yeah.
But I
On
guess
some
at
business
the,
trips.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
guess at the time I was known for bringing too many things when we went on a trip. And so she had really been harassing me leading up to the trip. So I had a lot of fun out of that because she didn't expect that at all.
I thought she was going to say, Gail, that we don't have a very, very big sized trunk, so we can't put you in it.
Oh.
When my daughter worked with the Continental Singers, she had, of course, we grew up in Thailand. She knew she had to pack very compactly. She couldn't take very much. So she had to work with the newer ones coming in to say how much they could actually take on the bus.
Mhm.
And so she'd give them lessons on what to pack,
And how to pack it.
how to pack it. Yeah. Yeah.
Myra, when I go out on some business trips, Myra helped me pack one of those carry-on suitcases. And I was amazed how much she could pack in there for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Well, it helped me because we were going to be staying with somebody that we knew. So I knew if I needed to, I could do laundry.
Yeah.
Of course, these days, all you have to do is run down the street to Walmart or Target.
That's right.
So
Find another package of underwear.
yeah. Or VF Outlet,
Yeah.
My wife reminded me there's a big one there in Orlando, just not far from where we're going to be staying,
Yeah.
Run down there and get some socks and underwear or something like that.
Well, I have a couple of trips that we took that the luggage did not arrive when we arrived. One was a train trip to St. Louis, and we got off in St. Louis and our luggage went on to Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And so we had to immediately go to the store because we had been on the train for over 24 hours already because we took the train from Fort Worth. That was when my kids were little. And then I took a mission trip to Alaska 8 or 10 years ago, and something happened with our luggage, and our luggage didn't make it to the island. And we had to wait several days to get our luggage. But I had learned to put at least my toothbrush and absolute necessities in my carry-on bag
Yeah.
so that I would at least have a toothbrush and a change of clothes,
Right.
even if my suitcase didn't make it. So, but that was quite interesting.
Many years since I have a CPAP machine. Of course, you can take those on an airplane. That's not luggage. That's a medical device. But I had a bag that was big enough where I could pack other things into it, around it. And so I always made sure I had my medication and other things in that bag.
Right.
That I needed to. Of course, you have to be able to have loose enough so they can pull it out, because some airports, they just kind of scan it through and that's fine. Other airports, you actually have to pull it out of the bag, and they do their little wand thing around it, type of thing in there.
So Janine and John, do y'all have any vacation stories from amusement parks or going to the lake?
Not right now.
No? All right.
I'm still asleep.
You're still asleep.
John is still asleep. I'm half asleep. But I do put my medicine in my power cell phone charger in my CPAP case when I go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Steve does.
To make sure you have the absolute necessities.
Yeah. Well, I did go to Mexico when I was 12, but it was not a fun trip. I didn't like real Mexican food. I thought I was going to be getting Tex-Mex down there.
Oh.
And on the way back, our car overheated and we had to put all our drinking water in the radiator and stop every few miles to let it cool off. It was hot, really, really hot. It was the summertime.
Yeah.
It's like real Chinese food in China is not the same as Chinese food here in America.
Right.
Yeah. I learned that the hard way.
So
what about vacations to historical sites? No?
John and I took a train to Washington, D.C. a few years ago, and that was a lot of fun. we were supposed to have done it for our 10th anniversary, but it was, I think, our 29th when we finally got there.
Even though I worked in South Dakota by the Black Hills, I never saw Mount Rushmore until about 3 years ago when Sue and I went up through there. Yeah. But I worked just south of there on a ranch.
Mhm.
You know, every time we drove by, you couldn't see it because of the fog. You know, you couldn't see Mount Rushmore.
Right.
So, but we had a good time. We had a good trip. We enjoyed it. During that.
My parents took a vacation. We drove up from Florida on the East Coast up to Maine. And when I say we went to Maine, we meant like a mile into it, so we could say it. We went to Maine. But we stopped at Shenandoah battlefield, and that was it. Very interesting to me. And then later on, that in one of our trips out to the east to visit my parents, we stopped at what's the name of town? It had the Vicksburg, and went through their memorial. And that was really interesting because they had recovered one of the submersible ships that they were used in the Battle of Vicksburg. And I was surprised that they didn't all sink and drown everybody. That was just not what you expect to be able to survive.
We honeymooned at Teddy Roosevelt National Park.
Oh yeah.
And where's that at?
Medora, North Dakota.
Okay.
We took our first anniversary and went backpacking in a national park. I don't remember where, somewhere in Tennessee or something like that.
The one that I was, we lived like an hour and a half from the Lincoln birthplace, and they had his tomb there, and that was like a regular trip every summer. Sometimes even during the school year, they'd take us there. But it's got a big bronze statue of Lincoln on front of it, and everything's got nicely patinaed on it, except his nose, because everybody went up and rubbed his nose for good luck.
His nose.
Well, Myra, do you have any vacation stories to share?
My folks were very good about taking vacations. In my younger years, we lived in central Kansas, and we always went to Estes Park. But as I got older, they got into having a motor home. So we would, we've been to the Black Hills and Washington and up and down the coast, the Atlantic coast. Except my father wouldn't stop to see the water because all water looks the same, according to him.
Even the oceans looks the same.
It's just water. We're not stopping.
Oh, look, there's the ocean. Yeah.
I'm thinking we live in landlocked Kansas. It's right there, but no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I think Williamsburg was probably one of my favorite family vacations. We'd done Washington, D.C., and that was lovely and nice, but I just fell in love with Williamsburg and everything there.
So what's a vacation that you've always wanted to take? Some place that you've always wanted to visit?
Alaskan cruise.
An Alaskan cruise.
And we had one scheduled for July of 2020. I couldn't go.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to Ireland.
You wanted to go to Ireland.
I've been to Ireland. It's very nice.
Mhm. We were going to have gone to Scotland on the 18th, but that was cancelled.
The 18th of August?
No, now here in July. But the
Oh,
trip
Oh,
in
your
was
trip got canceled?
last year and it's cancelled this year. Yeah.
Oh,
So are they
Yeah.
not open back up yet?
No, they're not.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of Delta cases over there.
Mhm.
So we are staying here.
My wife still wants to go out to the Grand Canyon. She's never been.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
That's
kind of want to see the
vacation,
Grand
right?
Canyon growing up.
And
Yeah,
I'd like to go to Yellowstone.
oh, Yellowstone's spectacular.
Yeah, Yellowstone.
And the Tetons.
Mhm. Well, I've been in the Grand Tetons because I lived out in Wyoming and drove through all of that area, but not been to Yellowstone. Oh,
Yeah.
I had dreams of taking a road trip after when we retired and going to all the national parks. And obviously we can't drive anymore, so that's not going to happen on our own. Might still arrange it with somebody else driving,
Mhm.
but no.
we thought basically getting my sister-in-law and her husband and together we'll rent an RV and drive out to the Grand Canyon, together. Because Sue doesn't fly. She's about 40% hearing in one 40% hearing in one ear. And a lot of it, they say, is because of her flying. All of those hairs in their inner ear have started falling out through the years because of the high altitude to get in. So she has to wear hearing aids all the time.
So are y'all driving to Florida?
Yes, we are driving to Florida. She drives. I don't.
Yeah, same here.
Will y'all stop on the way?
We'll stop one place somewhere going. We're not sure where, yet. It'll be a 2-day trip total,
Yeah.
day and a half, something like that, because we'll probably stop in probably very western Florida on the Panhandle someplace. And then we'll go in, the day in Orlando.
Mhm.
She's going, we usually take 2 days. Coming back, she just gets in the car and drives all the way. She just wants to get home.
Yeah.
So just drive straight through,
When I lived in South Carolina, you couldn't throw a rock in any direction without hitting some sort of either Civil War or Independence War monument or site. So we visited a lot of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, they all had the same kind of characteristics. It's the last battle of something was here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So, Hans and Yetta, is there some place that you've always wanted to visit that you haven't been able to?
Oh, we have been so many places, so many nice places. I mean, Scotland, I would have liked to go to. I'd like to go to Iceland. I'd like to go to, Portugal, all Spain. I've never been to. So yeah, there are still dreams.
Yeah. Hans, what about you? You're awfully quiet today.
I'm always quiet.
I think if we could travel, I would like to have gone to Norway.
Oh, it's so
Just
pretty.
thinking of,
Norway, did you say?
Yeah.
we still have some distant relatives there, but
It is so pretty. We sailed 2 years ago, I think we started in Bergen and then we sailed all the way up to the northern part and then into Finland.
Yeah.
Lovely.
See, my one side of my mother's side of family actually is from above the Arctic Circle on the coast.
Mhm. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
we were there.
yeah,
Reindeer land, right?
yeah. They're all fishermen. You
Yeah,
know, along the
That's
coast.
more Lapland though, down
Yeah,
in
Lapland in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because I was just thinking about another family we knew that came from that area, and they really had more of the what we call Asian features. You know, had the slanted eyes and things like that, because it's all mixed together up in that area with the what do I call it? It's going to come. I'm sorry, it's going to come. The what we call the natives national, you know, the
The indigenous
people up in that area that are not what white Scandinavian.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I'm sorry, I'm not making very much sense at all. You know, I'm sorry.
I think we understood you.
I think I got it, Steve.
Okay.
How about you, Gail?
Where I've always wanted to go, my husband and I have always wanted to travel to Maine and Vermont, especially during the fall season
Yes.
change. So if I could plan a vacation and put all the places I want to see, except I'd have to get somebody to tell me what are the must-sees. But he's not a real good vacationer because he doesn't like tourist traps.
Tourist traps.
If it looks like a tourist trap, he's not interested.
So you've never visited the snake farm on the way to San Antonio then?
No. I don't think I'd want to stop at a snake farm. No.
It's one of the biggest tourist traps that, the other one is up in the Smoky Mountains along the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's some caves that have crystals. Natural.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Caves.
And Missouri has a bunch of caves.
They're talking about the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah. So that's, even though it sounded like it was an interesting place, it was a total tourist trap.
It's kind of like driving to Florida some places. They got things all over the place for tourists, you know.
How do you define the tourist trap?
Something that sounds like it's important or interesting, but it's really filled with things you should buy.
Yeah,
It's hard to sell sometimes.
It's a trinket place.
Trinket, yeah.
Well, for me, what I was basically referring to is if it's something that everybody wants to see, but they've made it into the best example I can think of is the Royal Gorge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Royal Gorge.
Okay, so we went on a vacation, my husband and I, and we drove up to Royal Gorge. But when we got up there, the entrance was this big, huge parking lot, and it looked like some kind of amusement park or tourist trap.
Mm-hmm.
And he had no interest in going. So we didn't see the Royal Gorge, even though we were in the parking lot.
Now, what is the Royal Gorge? I don't even know.
It's a canyon, canyon, right, in Colorado that is comparable to the Grand Canyon in many ways.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has a little train that goes down. They don't call it a train, but goes down to let people go to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And go up.
And they have some bridges that go over it, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we could, from the way they have it built up now, you could not see any of the Royal Gorge unless you went through the gates and paid to get in. So we saw nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Too
That's
bad,
too
huh?
bad.
Yeah.
I like that when you
So when I say tourist trap, that's what I mean, is something that everybody wants to see or everybody thinks they want to see, and they've made it into a money-making venture.
Mhm. Does anybody know if that's how Niagara Falls is?
I have been to
Yeah.
Niagara Falls. That's where we went
Yeah.
on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different because it's a little more open spaces,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they do have certain things that you can do, but you can also walk and see parts of it without doing some of those things.
Okay.
Now, we did do a couple of the things where we went in the boat that went down
Mhm.
underneath the falls, and you had to wear the
Yeah,
raincoats and
yeah,
everything. We did do that.
Yeah, we have done that. We have been so many times. We used to live an hour away from Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. So every time we
Okay.
had visitors, we always drove there. And I mean, every time you go, it's just amazing.
Yes.
So their commander, Mclaughlin said.
That's one of the places I would like to see.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
I saw a picture of it lit up at night. I don't know if they light it up every night.
I'm gonna have to go, so I'm waving everybody bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
Nancy.
Nancy.
Bye, Nancy. See you
Nancy.
tomorrow, honey.
I,
Bye-bye.
I didn't hear what you said, Don.
Oh, I saw pictures of it where
I said I had to leave.
it has lights
Bye, Nancy.
underneath the falls
Bye, Nancy.
that light up,
Yeah.
colored lights.
Yeah,
I don't know if they do that every night or just some nights.
I don't know. I don't know. But we have also seen it all frozen over, especially
Yeah.
the
Mm.
American side was all frozen.
Uh,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
have a nice day, Nancy.
If they were really commercial, they'd figure out a way to do barrel rides over the fall.
You bet. You bet.
Then it'd be a tourist trap.
That's right. That's a tourist trap. That's right.
I think
You know,
there
when I
are
was growing up, I
actually
was very
somebody
interested
that
in
have
barrel
done
rides
it and
over
they
there.
survived.
Hmm.
Yeah. But they'd figure out a way to do it, so people could do it,
Yeah.
They'd get Disney involved somewhere.
Yeah, Disney, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Oh.
take a look and see what we have coming up for tomorrow. Oh, that's not right. There it is. Tomorrow is Glenn
Good.
McLaughlin, the Western Swing Guitar and Fiddle Duo.
Good. Excellent.
So he's been with us before.
Yes.
And also tomorrow we will be singing Happy Birthday to Nancy
Oh,
at
Mhm.
the end of the
That's right.
program because her birthday is this weekend.
okay.
So we need to make sure he doesn't log off before we sing happy birthday.
Yeah, I
So
think
like
her,
today, she says, I've got to go.
yeah, I think her daughter will probably come in to
Okay.
help with that. So Martha's kind of been coordinating that, but I just wanted to remind everybody we'll be doing that tomorrow.
We can also sing tomorrow. Her birthday's
Thank
this
you.
weekend also.
Oh, it is
17th.
the 17th. I think Nancy's is the 18th.
Oh, they're almost twins.
Today's the 17th, isn't it?
Today,
Isn't today the 17th?
no, today's the
No.
15th.
No.
15th.
15th.
Today's the
15th.
15th.
I'm getting so bad at keeping up with days of the week and dates and stuff. It's just gone.
Well, speaking of days of the week, some of you may have your packages in the mail today.
Oh, sounds good.
So
Okay.
I'll be interested to see what you think. I'm going to try to join in tomorrow, at least for a little while. So I'll be interested to see what you think about the texture of the cookies.
I think that they're going to
Okay.
be good no matter what.
I think they will too, yes.
Don's gonna sit in the dining room and wait for the mail truck,
Yeah,
aren't you?
that's right.
Oh, and while I'm thinking of it, I had a text message conversation with Paulette this week,
Oh, good.
okay.
and she misses the group and she wants to be back with us. I think the time difference is really difficult because it's only 8:30 in the morning there
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
we start. But she loves the group and she misses everybody. And they plan to come for visits back to Texas, but they don't have any dates set yet.
Okay, great.
Will they be moving out there for good?
I think that's probably the plan,
Okay.
because they've actually moved into a community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. It's probably either an independent living or assisted living, not too far from where their daughter lives.
Okay.
Okay.
And as I understood it in the beginning, it was like a 2-month trial,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like it's probably becoming a permanent arrangement.
Okay.
So anyway,
Hey, has
she,
anybody heard from Cammy and
David and Cammie,
yeah,
no,
They
have
haven't
they
been
not
around
been
for a
on in a
while.
while?
No, they haven't.
Okay, Martha and I'll have to reach out to them and see what's going on.
It's been a couple of weeks since they've.
yeah.
Okay,
And Daddy's been missing a lot. I think it's just from sleeping and doctor's appointments, but I know he would appreciate somebody reaching out to him.
okay. We'll do that as well. Sometimes it's just need a little nudge, right?
That's exactly right.
All right. Well, y'all all have a great rest of your day. And
All right.
if you're gonna sit at the mailbox, make sure you take an umbrella. Because it's
Hey,
hot.
that's
For
right.
the sun or is the rain?
For the sun.
No, for the sun.
Okay.
A
All
little
right.
spray bottle too to keep you
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
A little fan with
Little
a mist
fan,
bottle
yeah.
on it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right,
Bye-bye,
I'll see
everybody.
everybody tomorrow.
Bye.
I just
Bye-bye.
have to say,
Bye.